And we are live. Welcome back, everyone, to another action-packed edition of the Another 71 podcast. Welcome to episode 95. As always, I'm your humble host, Jeff Elliott, a licensed CPA in the state of Kansas by the grace of God and to the chagrin of many, and the number is growing daily. I assure you, making the CPA exam far more exciting than it was ever meant to be. Happy Thursday to you. Today is Thursday, August 12th. 2021. You have some questions. Hopefully, well, I have answers. Hopefully, some of them are good. And going to be a quick show, rapid fire, 7 questions, 7 up, 7 down. And we also have the live chat going for the ninjas. So we'll stop in there as well. If you have a question for the podcast, the easiest way is just to email me, jeff@another71.com. Or if you are on one of our various social channels, you know, the usual suspects, you can just comment in a recent post there as well, and I will find it. All right. Starting things off, Denise says, "Hey, Jeff, what do you think about free CPA review materials, such as CPA review for free? Does Ninja CPA Review have a free trial? If so, what's the difference?" Yeah, so most people supplement, and it's a combination of a paid supplement, a free supplement. Even if you're just studying or asking questions on the Another 71 forum or Reddit or a Facebook group, technically you are supplementing. So everyone supplements, and some of it's free, some of it's paid. So CPA Review for free, for example, it's been around for just about as long as since I've been doing this, which is circa 2008. I'm old, but back in the day, CPA Review for free, Professor Joe Hoyle, very highly respected teacher, I believe at the University of Virginia, accounting professor. I actually spoke with him on the phone once. Super nice guy, again, highly respected. He created CPA Review for free, and then I believe he sold it to the same people who own Fast Forward Academy, so Rain Hughes. And I've also spoken to Rain a few times on the phone, also a nice guy. He's done a good job with CPA Review for free, making it a free resource. So the difference between CPA Review for free and the Ninja materials in general, CPA Review for free does not use AICPA released questions. It's not necessarily a huge deal, but they have like 1,000 free questions, and accounting questions are accounting questions. So I haven't looked at them in maybe a decade, but I know that they're popular, so you can check them out. The difference between CPA Review for free and the Ninja free trial: Ninja uses AICPA release questions, but when you do the free trial, you get a sample of the questions of the Ninja MCQ test bank, as well as Ninja notes, or a demo chapter of the Ninja notes, Ninja audio, Ninja book, and you can figure out if you love, like, or hate my voice, and if you want to subscribe. So that's the main difference. All sorts of free CPA review materials out there, and check them all out whenever if you're about to spend thousands of dollars on a CPA review course. It's a good idea to do a free trial of that CPA review course. So anyway, hope that's helpful to you. Kendall writes in, "I'm taking my last exam, FAR, in 1 month. Do you recommend doing any practice exams, or should I only do practice sets of MCQs and SIMs?" So I've said it many times before, and some people think it's stupid advice. Not the first time. I hate practice exams. Friends don't let friends do practice exams. I'm a bit of a hypocrite because Ninja MCQ has unlimited practice exams, but I only include those because people would want it. and ask why it's not included. But I personally do not like practice exams because it's not an effective, nor is it an efficient use of your study time. It's not effective because I don't think it tells you anything. It tells you your raw percentage score. That's not how the CPA exam is graded anyway. And it's not an efficient because the CPA exam is, it's a complicated formula. It's of weighted average, and I think they hide the exact formula in the same vault as the Coca-Cola recipe and the KFC recipe. And so highly guarded secret, but it's basically a weighted average, and it's a lot more complex than that. So you can't just get a raw percentage and then attribute that to, or correlate that with how you're going to do it on the exam. So, and also it's inefficient because if you're going to spend 4 hours of study time, you're a lot better off just doing that in study mode. That way you do a question over bonds, you get the answer, you get the blurb as to why your question was right or wrong. And then it's a learning opportunity. So each question has 4 learning opportunities. Why one answer is correct and why the other 3 are not correct. So again, friends don't let friends do practice exams. Hope that's helpful. And then Ninja Chat, hey Jennifer, and another unnamed user. If you have a question, raise your hand or post it in the chat. Hey. Jeff writes in, excellent name. I was told by my CPA review course that 7.5% would be testable in Q4 of this year. Can you please confirm this? All right, 7.5%, that is the medical exemption that they're referring to. And so right now it's Q3 2021, and they're saying that they believe that the medical expense deduction should be 10%, not 7.5%, as is stated in the Ninja materials. It's actually 10% for real life under the CARES Act, because in 2021, tax returns are prepared under the CARES Act. However, in CPA exam land, it's a bit different. The AICPA tested on the CARES Act from September 2020 through December 2020. And they told all of the review providers that as of January 1st, 2021, the CARES Act would no longer be testable. So that means everything that the CARES Act changed relative to TCJA, then it's rolling back to TCJA. So corporate charitable contributions going from 25% back down to 10% as it was under TCJA. Net operating loss rules, you have the 80% threshold. Individual medical expense deduction is back down to 7.5%. So make sure that your review course is using 7.5%. And it's going to be 7.5% until July 1st of 2022, when the 2022 tax laws are testable on the exam, unless Congress does CARES Act number 2. And it will certainly be a number 2. Okay. In the chat, hey, Rona, Juliana, Dan, and unnamed iPhone. If you want to raise your hand if you want to chat, or just post your question, or just listen. That's great too. But I'm almost halfway through the questions, by the way. So be quick, but don't hurry if you have a question. Jessica on the Another 71 Facebook page. So Jessica posted this in the previous podcast. And so I said, you have a question, post it and I'll answer it in the next one. And here we are. I know there's a whole thing going on how much to study. I don't remember, but you have 1 billion children and work. I have almost 1 billion children. I have 10 children. It feels like 1 billion at times. I have 2 young boys and work 45 plus hours every week. I struggle to find time to do anything between work, family, and sleep, driving and eating in there somewhere. How do I make this work without feeling extremely exhausted and that I'm not present for my family? So, Jessica, you have a full plate like a lot of people out there. There's a lot of people out there with families, working full time, little league, church commitments, etc., and trying to study on top of it. And so, what I recommend and what I have is called the L plan, and it just so happens the first 3 letters of my last name, and it it works out. It's early, lunch, late. So it's just, so first and foremost, you need to be studying 20 hours a week. So great, wonderful. How do you do that? Well, it's more manageable if you break it into early, lunch, and late. And so it's really a way to sneak in study time. So early, let's say you normally get up at 6 for work. So get up at 5. Now, it will take a week or 2 to adjust to this. You will hate life. You're going to have the coffee pot ready to go, because the second that you roll out of bed, you're going to not want to do that. You want to get back in bed. So gotta get out of bed, hit that button on the coffee pot, and go, 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 go. Okay. So that's early, sneak in an hour. And then an efficient way to sneak in some study time is during your commute. Let's say that you're one of these people that actually go back to these things called offices. Remember those? You have the Ninja Audio. So you're listening. So your commute's, let's say 30 minutes. Well, that's 30 minutes that you can study. And you just listen to the Ninja Audio to and from work. Let's be realistic. You're only going to listen to it maybe one way. So at least fit in 30 minutes. The rest of the way, it's your Spotify playlist. But on the way home, it's your Spotify playlist. But that's 30 minutes, 5 times a week. That's 2.5 hours. So that's 2.5 hours that you've knocked out for your 20. And then getting up early 5 times a week, that's an hour, or that's 5 hours. So you're up to 7.5 hours without really changing too much. At lunch, let's do an extra, let's just study for 30 minutes and mess around on Facebook or whatever for the rest of the 15 or 30 minutes. So that's another 2.5 hours. Maybe you take, let's call it 2 hours, because you leave the office on Friday and go down the street and get out of the office. So it's an extra 2 hours. So 7.5 plus 2, that's 9.5 hours. And then you are at night, you sneak in from 9:30 to 10:30, an extra hour. So let's say you do that 4 nights a week, because you take Friday off. And so what was that, 9 hours? So 4 hours, so you're up to 13 hours. So you're facing, and then you take Friday completely off. Okay. So date night, whatever, kids night, family night. And so that leaves 7 hours to hit on Saturday and Sunday. So you start studying from 7 to 11 a.m. on Saturday. It's 4 hours. Then on Sunday from 3 to 6. There's your 20 hours. And it really, breaking it down like that, it doesn't really sound that terrible, and it's doable. And that's how you study with a family and church commitments and little league and life and keeping a marriage and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So hope that's helpful. Going back to the chat. Rona, can you pass odd using just Ninja? Absolutely. People pass any section of the exam using just Ninja. Most people have it as a supplement because they already have a course, but plenty of people use it just Ninja. You just, on my website, I have how to study with just Ninja, but essentially the Ninja book and the Ninja sparring is what encompasses your nail the concepts. So Albert, hi, I just passed FAR and my 18-month window is in the chat, just began. Why is it that sometimes the release dates are sometimes far apart and sometimes close? For example, next month next month's last day is September 7th, and the release date is September 15th. But if I take it on September 8th, I must wait till October 12th. So I'm very nervous. Don't want to take the exam on, let's say, September 10th and then wait till October 12th. What do I do? It's like a month gap. Okay, so I'm gonna answer that question first. All right, month. That's just how the score release windows work. I've never tried to understand them. That's just how they are. If it makes you feel any better, just know that when we used to have wave 1 and wave 2, and no one knew if you were in wave 1 or wave 2. So score release night would come along and it would come and go, and you didn't have your score. Okay, you're wave 2. So you have to wait another month or 3 weeks. It was awful. And so things are much better than they used to be. And we used to have the dead month, and you have continuous testing now. And back in my day, we used to have to walk uphill both ways in the snow on score release night, etc. So I would just, you know what, I wouldn't try to time your exam around score release, but all else being equal, take that into consideration. But it's like a tertiary factor. It's my one time a month I get to use that word. And following up on that question, how should I approach the 18-month window for the next 3 exams? I'm studying full time. And so studying full time. All right, 18-month window. So the long and short of it is you just take your exam and pass it and keep going. How you don't do it is what I did. And that's, I passed FAR, felt like I had passed the entire exam. So I just took a month off. Oh no, sorry, not a month. That'd be fine. I took a year off and then ended up against the 18-month window, and I actually lost my FAR credit. So don't do that. It's not fun. If you're going to lose an exam section, FAR is not the one that you want to lose. And so, but that's how you do that. Saying in the chat, Dan says, hi, Jeff. I've been using Glime and Ninja to study. Do you have any recommendations on how to best optimize using both? This is for reg. All right, I'm gonna start answering your question. You can tell me if this is your first time or for a retake. All right, so using Glime and Ninja, you still follow the Ninja framework. First time, great. Follow the Ninja framework and you nail the concepts with your Glime lectures and take intense notes. So that's the NI, then N, then you do nonstop multiple choice questions. It's your first time through with Glime. So you would use your Glime test bank and take notes over what you get wrong or what you might get wrong in the future. I should back up all the while on day 1, you start reading your Ninja notes and you start listening to the Ninja audio. It's okay if you haven't studied that section that you're listening to or reading. The more times you listen to it or read it, the more it will stick in your brain. And it will also help your comprehension. We actually do study that material. So you listen to the Ninja audio so many times that you just hate life, hate my voice, and you read the Ninja notes everywhere, put on your phone, tablet, whatever. You put the shortcut where Facebook used to be just to trick your thumb. And then so NINJ, just rewrite your notes. So you can either rewrite your Glime plus MCQ notes, or you can rewrite the Ninja notes, your choice. And then it all comes together. So this is where you certainly shift to Ninja MCQ, and it's a week out from your exam, and you start with your weakest topic first, and you work backwards. So for regulation, you just know that corporate tax, I mean, your analytics will tell you, but you also know like which topics you're terrible at. Start with your weakest topic first and work backwards. And so it's corporate tax. Then you do mini tests of 20 questions, and then you do that until you score 70%. It's an arbitrary threshold. And then, so the first time you score 65%, you do another set of 20, you score 72%. Great. You move on to the next one, which is your next weakest, which is individual tax, and then partnership tax, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And until you get to your strengths, and then all the while you're listening to the Ninja audio and reading the Ninja book. And that's how you study using Gleim plus Ninja. If this was for a retake, then on the NIN, the nailed or nonstop MCQ, you've already been through the exam once and failed with Gleim and their test bank. So in this case, you would do the MCQ with Ninja using the Ninja MCQ because you've likely seen so many Gleim questions that you're starting to memorize the answers. And that's the difference between the two. Hope that's helpful. Staying in the Ninja chat. Do you know how to add your audio to the Spotify playlist? I currently have it on iTunes, but would prefer to have it there. I listen to it all day on repeat in the background while at work. You don't realize how much you retain from just hearing it over and over. Like Jennifer, I look forward to you passing so you don't have to listen to that anymore. iTunes is easy, but I've never added the Ninja audio to Spotify. If anyone has done this, shoot me an email and then I will cover it in a next podcast. But I know that in Spotify you can import, like, if I'm listening to U2 and the Joshua Tree and on Spotify, and I've actually already purchased it, somehow Spotify knows that. I don't know if it will do that with a file that's not already in Spotify, but it's on your computer. But I'm sure there's a way. So if you know how to do that, hit me up. Jennifer, I was not very helpful, but I like the fact that you're listening to it all day. And I also feel sorry for you. BP says, hi, Jeff. Your breakdown of 20 hours is doable, but how do I divide time between reading, audio, blitz, MCQ? Any pointers? Yeah, 20 hours per. Yeah. Well, you just follow the Ninja framework, nail the concepts in the book, and Ninja Sparring. So Ninja Sparring, you can either watch the replays as part of the concepts or as part of the final review. Your choice. As far as nail the concepts, you'd want to watch all of them. We've actually been through the material twice now in some sections. And for if you're doing it for a replay or for a final review, then you maybe pick three topics, 3 or 4 topics. But so nail the concepts with your book. The most important thing with that is that you set a budget. Okay, I'm going to get through the Ninja book in 10 days, whatever it is. And then once you hit that 10 days, it doesn't matter if you're on chapter 1 or chapter 10, you're done because you're moving on to the MCQ, because otherwise you're just going to drag it out forever and you're going to keep postponing your exam. It's just, you're never going to get done. So the most important thing on the nail the concepts phase, well, really all the phases, is to set a time budget. So, so Blitz, Blitz is kind of like a hybrid of the notes and audio. If you're reading the notes, listen to the audio. I'd spend more time watching sparring. Audio, listen to it from the second you subscribe to Ninja. Same with the notes. Hope that's helpful. Question in the chat: do you recommend doing every single question in the test bank, or is that insane? Yes, that is insane. Gleim also recommends sessions of 20 questions. Yeah, cool. Yeah, most people do not make it. So most people do not make it through 100% recon, which is when you've answered every question at least once correctly. Most people do not make it. So you want to do what you can. So I'm a huge fan of doing the questions topically. So get for regulation, corporate tax, individual tax, partnership tax. And you're not going to make it through all the questions. At least I don't think you can do that and keep it under the 7 or 8 week window, or not completely burn out. So hope that's helpful. Again, if you want to chat, raise your hand. I will unmute you. Moving back to the questions. Find my place. Hey, do you think I should practice sitting in 4-hour increments? No, I don't. So I think you should do your sets of 20. Like, let's say that you're working MCQ, do your sets of 20, get up, walk around 5 minutes, come back. Now the danger, the danger for that is that you'll never come back. But get up, walk around. So I like to use a marathon analogy with studying for two reasons. Well, one, wanting to be a CPA is like wanting to run a marathon. It needs to be your goal. Otherwise, you're not going to study. Running a marathon needs to be your goal, or you're not going to train. When you're running a marathon, I'm not a runner, but I have friends who are. They tell me that you don't actually ever run a marathon practicing. You peak out on your 15 miles or something like that. And then on race day, obviously you have to break through that barrier, that mental barrier. There's no point in just sitting for 4 hours. Like, you should do that one time, and it's on exam day. And that's also why I hate study, like practice exams. Like, why do it? So no, you should study in 45-minute increments or less, and then save the marathon for exam day. Question: is AMT no longer testable on the CPA exam? Yes, AMT is no longer testable on the CPA exam. AMT was the one removal from regulation that I was happy to see go. I hated AMT. I still hate AMT. I hate the concept of AMT. It's anti-capitalistic, and it's horrible to study. Extremely boring. So glad to see it go. I did not agree with the removal of estate tax, but because I think that CPAs should be reasonably competent at estate tax and just estate tax planning, because for no other reason, just to be able to have a competent conversation in passing at the dinner table at Thanksgiving, etc. Just knowing how estate tax works and the threshold and everything like that. But they didn't ask me. So, and they also removed IFRS from FAR. Love that. I think in the beginning it made sense with IFRS and GAAP convergence. Seemed like we were on the road to just international financial reporting. Discontinued operations was removed, although you still need to know it just as it relates to the income statement. And some parts of macroeconomics were removed from BEC. Not a huge deal. All right, wrapping things up. If you're in the chat and you have a question, now's the time to ask, because we're almost out of time. Again, if you want to speak with me, raise your hand and I will unmute you. All right, Sylvie writes in, I have failed twice in BEC. I've done all the questions I have in Ninja. What should I do to prepare for my third time for my exam? All right, so when there's failure, there's really three questions. Are you studying? So are you studying 5 hours, 10 hours, 20 hours? How are you studying? Are you studying like the traditional method of question one or chapter one questions? Sorry, chapter one video, chapter one questions, chapter two video, chapter two questions? Or are you studying it with the Ninja framework, which is the more efficient and effective way to study the other concepts, intense notes, nonstop MCQ, just rewrite your notes, and it all comes together? So are you studying? How are you studying? And then what are you studying with? And in this case, you're using Ninja. So is Ninja working for you? Are the parts of Ninja that you're using working for you? So it's always interesting when I interview someone who used Ninja only, and see, in my mind, everyone uses the textbook, but then I speak to people who like, no, I didn't touch the textbook at all. Oh, well, surely you listen to the audio. No, I just listened to the MCQ and sparring, and I passed all four. Great. Okay. And so what aspects of the ninja materials are you using? If you're not using sparring, start doing sparring. If the book is dragging you down, you feel like an anchor in the ocean, like punt and just do MCQ, sparring, notes, audio, etc. And the same goes for like any review course. If there's certain aspects of the review course that aren't working for you, get rid of it and just use what's working for you. You know, add something else to it. So, or just get rid of it altogether. So it's really those three questions. And so, how do you prepare for your third time? The biggest mistake that people make on a retake is, you know, unless your scores, but let's say that you scored a 73. You're not 2 points away from passing, you're actually 75 away. On exam day, you were exam ready. So the sections that you scored really high in, you were exam ready on that day. You're not now. You need to, there's a significant short-term memory component to, same for the CPA exam, and you need to go back, study exactly like you did to get that 73 or 63 or whatever it was, and then do something different. If you didn't rewrite your notes, this time rewrite your notes. If you didn't listen to the Ninja audio 8,000 times until you hated life, listen to Ninja audio 8,000 times until you hate life. Read the Ninja notes everywhere you go if you weren't before. If you weren't attending any live sparring sessions and asking questions of or the topics that are tripping you up, start doing that. So that's how you overcome failure. That's how you retake an exam. The biggest pitfall on any exam for a retake is people just get back in there and cram, and then they end up scoring worse than they did before, and they just think they're stupid and maybe not cut out for this. It's not the case at all. You're just not studying correctly. All right. Well, that does it for this edition of the podcast. If you have a question, you can leave it in the comments below. You can email me, jeff@another71.com. Until next time, everyone, be good, take care, and I will talk to you soon.